All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about the situation in Ukraine and doing it in real time for real people just like you and me. Biden, okay, is saying that, you know what? Patriotism is paying more at the gas pump. So I hadn't been out in a couple of days because I kind of work from home and kind of have some activities going on. And sometimes I don't go out if I don't have to, because right now, just being around a lot of people is really stressful for me. I don't know why that is. I think I have some kind of issue that I need to go see someone about, because I'm really starting to dislike people in general. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. So we don't see eye to eye. I can't drive down a lane, right, without hitting four cars in the left lane who are driving at 20 miles per hour. All right. And then I have to go around them using the right lane. Welcome to the state of Florida. So Biden, all right, I like to call him Barack Hussein O'Biden, because this is really just a wish list of things that the Obama administration, which we learned after a couple of years, you know, with the hope and change thing, when it just kind of faded away, we learned that they were just another neoliberal organization dedicated to the elites, dedicated to all of the things that people who voted for them thought they wouldn't do. We had just gotten through with one of the worst administrations in history, 8 years, in fact, of George W. Biden. I mean, Bush, yeah, same thing, right? You know, racking up debt. You had the banking crisis. You had the housing crisis. Remember what George W. Bush said, and we are there again. In order to save the free market, we've got to blow up the free market in order to save the free market. It says, oh my gosh, we're sending $13 billion to Ukraine. 13 billion. Now you got homeless encampments pretty much everywhere. You've got cities in chaos with violence, shootings. Chicago is more in line with Fallujah these days. Probably Fallujah, I think, is a safer place. I don't know. I'm just being all hyperbolic and facetious here, but think about it. We've got all of this violence in the cities, and people south of us they're releasing their prisoners because their prisoners are a burden to their own population, and they're telling them to go to the United States. What could go wrong, right? And we're, of course, letting them in, and we're not testing them. We're not asking for a QR code when they cross the border. That open border stuff, it kills me every time. Just great. We've got biolabs that have been confirmed thanks to an exchange between Little Marco and one of those embedded deep state officials that has been there off and on through many administrations, who basically makes a living at, you know, telling lies. And she said something like, oh yeah, there are bioweapons facilities, biolaboratory facilities. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket, right? So we found that out, but there's no reason at all why Putin is taking the actions that he's taking, right? I hear this over and over in the mainstream, so-called mainstream media, that it's just an unprovoked thing and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Again, I am not endorsing it. I wish it would stop right now. And you know what? Putin could be creative and probably find other ways to deal with Zelenko, the primetime, not ready for primetime prime minister, right? It just, I don't know. But he's using force. And yes, I'm sure collateral damage is happening, even though, from what I can tell, people keep sabotaging those humanitarian routes out of Ukraine. I wonder who's doing the sabotage, right? Also, when Ukrainian soldiers flee the scene because they realize that they're outgunned, outnumbered, out-strategized, they leave, right? And they leave all these weapons behind. And I've seen some labels on these weapons, basically where they were manufactured. And some of them, at least in one video, showed the location of Spring, Texas as one of the locations where these weapons were made. Folks, we're giving arms, we're giving money. We've got huge problems here, but yet people even locally are giving money to charities that are going to send money to Ukraine. You've had people for 2+ years who lost everything they had during the lockdowns, everything, or they got to a point where they couldn't function without a food bank, without some kind of federal program. And basically, they require these people to go to CVS in order to get what the program is offering them. You know what I'm saying? This is why I have a real hard time right now with the traditional method of welfare. All right. I never liked it. Full disclosure, back in 2017, I was on it. I had lost my job. My wife had lost her job. My wife was in a car accident. There were a number of different things that happened at the same time. Wasn't a good year. It was a pretty bad year, but I'm starting to think that, 2020, 2021, and so far 2022 are worse. I mean, that was a bad year for us personally, but nothing compared to what we're looking at now, people. So yeah, I mean, we used it and we were on it for a few months, probably 6 months, I would say. And we just said we didn't want it anymore. And it was actually a little bit difficult to discontinue it. It shows you that once you're in the system, you are part of the system. And I can't stand people telling me how to run my life. It worked for a while. If it could be a transitory program and not a permanent program, I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I wouldn't say abolish all of it. I wouldn't do that because there are circumstances that happen. And I think corporately, we should be able to help each other. Here's the problem. We're not doing the helping. It's Wall Street that's doing the helping. It's large corporations doing the helping and providing all of the financial backing for these programs. And then the government tells people, both in the corporations and in these agencies, how to behave. And then the people who are using the program, they're also, of course, jumping through hoops in order to use the program. The programs are not easy when you try to get them. Once you get them, they're hard to get off of. See what I'm saying? Anyway, long story to say basically that we're not taking care of our own citizens, but we're taking care of those people in Ukraine. And that there are laboratories there that have nothing to do. We all think that it's just a Russian false flag, right, Marco Rubio? This is, it's got to be those wascally Russians that are doing ridiculous things, right? This is, look, I've been alive for a while, and unfortunately, I'm getting up there in years. And the only thing that is reminiscent to this for me is the late 1970s. Like I said, with switching the license plates on the car and gas lines. Now what we're starting to see is people are so paranoid now, and I don't blame them on this one. The toilet paper run was a little stupid, but people are going to the gas station to fill up their tank because they're afraid tomorrow the price is going to go up another buck. I mean, it was $4.07. Remember, I reported $4.07. It's $4.39 now. Holy crap, Batman, right? That's in, what, a day or two? It went up that much? Yeah, that's just great news. Everybody is so fired up about doing, this is the other thing, you're doing your patriotic duty, according to Stephen Colbert and all the usual neoliberal propaganda artists, late night TV. Why would you stay up late during these stressful times? Why not get a good night's rest? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's maybe some musician you'd like to see, or there might be one or two jokes that don't offend people in flyover country. I doubt it, though. We're all supposed to just get on board. Don't use the horse paste. Just follow the science and all that good BS. And here we are We went from one crisis, right? One crazy crisis to the next crazy crisis. And for those of you who think it's real tinfoil hat to not relate the two things, there's another one coming. I mean, this will eventually pass. My thoughts are that Putin, after he does what he needs to do here, he's going to stop doing that unless we provoke him into World War III. And we may do that. So I may be wrong about that. So it's a little caveat. So if we stay out of World War III, I think Putin does what he has to do, and then that's it. And then life goes on, maybe, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's just the beginning of a war for 20 years that never ends, a proxy war. Like, we're just going to keep dumping munitions and people and resources into Ukraine to fight a proxy war against Russia. And people are just, yeah, let's screw the Russian people. Good. All those little babies aren't going to get their food in Russia. And people are not sad about it. I mean, the whole mentality, you know, like Madeleine Albright, when she was asked about what, the million kids or whatever that were killed in Iraq, right? She said it was worth it. She said it was worth it back in those days. And Hillary Clinton, you know, we came, he saw, he died, or something like that. Remember the famous? I mean, these people have no remorse. They just think they own the planet, right? And it's Republicans and Democrats. It's both. And I hate to say it, but the whole political system right now is a joke. The $1.5 trillion bill, which is going to, again, explode the deficit, create more inflation, and be a boondoggle to certain things, but not to the people who need it most. There's only a little portion that goes to us little people. That bill pretty much sailed through. I think it's got to go through the Senate, and then it's a done deal. I don't know. It might already have been done. I hope not. But it probably will pass. And the only reason it's going to pass is it's the mentality of we have to do something. Well, the country right now is ruined. It's ruined as I speak. So not one action, not one specific thing by a politician is going to fix it. Not one great idea from a political party or a professor or, you know, a smart aleck newscaster. Nobody has a clue as to how to fix all of this damage. And again, the design, it's right there. We go from one crisis to the next crisis. It's seamless. People go from focusing on this thing that they can't see in the air that might be on a surface, it might be aerosol, it might be this, it might be that. The best thing you can do is stay home and cover yourself with cloth where you breathe. That's the most important. That's the best thing you can do. Oh, and make sure you take the medicine that Big Pharma is offering you, because Big Pharma paid us a lot of money to tell you to do this. So they wouldn't spend a lot of money, right? Unless it was really the right thing to do. They're not concerned just about the profit motive. No, they really care about humanity. And they sold that BS for 2 years. And now they're selling you the idea that we have to go to Ukraine or we have to support Ukraine. And that's the only thing that matters. There are no other circumstances happening in Ukraine. Nothing to see there. Just ignore the alternative media. Better yet, censor them, shut them down. Don't let them get a word in edgewise, and we win the argument. And if we're starting to lose the argument, we just start turning stuff off. So, you know, that's what's going to happen. That will continue to happen, folks, if people don't rise up on their own and just push back and say, you know what? I don't think it's patriotic for me to spend a third of my, you know, monthly income on gasoline, and not to mention electricity and home heating oil and all the different things that people have to, you know, use in order to, you know, maintain a reasonable standard of living. Yeah, solar looks good to me right now. Solar, not a, you know, you can't use it for everything, but yeah, solar. I mean, I think they should subsidize everybody and give everybody solar for their house. I mean, they've screwed everything. So yeah, if they're going to start spending billions of dollars, give me some solar panels. I mean, I don't make 400,000 a year. Give me some solar panels, man. Come on, man. Give me some solar. Anyway, like I always say, you have to laugh a little bit because if you don't, you're just going to cry. So the headlines again, Biden, of course, not being blamed for the economy by the elites. He's doing the best he can. $13 billion going to Ukraine. Biolabs for sure, confirmed, but yet the media just, it's all a Russian plot. The biolabs in the Ukraine are a Russian plot. Has nothing to do with us. And those weapons that they're finding over in Ukraine, those aren't American-made weapons. No, just because it says Spring, Texas on it doesn't mean it was made there. So in any event, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Patreon for just $1 a month. Yeah, I'm going to need the dollar, people. $4.39 and climbing. And you may not be able to spare that dollar, and I get it. But if you got it, say you're retired and you're like a multimillionaire and, maybe you have enough money to finish strong with, consider $1 a month. But most people who watch this channel aren't part of the elite rich portion of the population. Anyway, see you soon.